Well, Sportsvibe are here today at the Round the Island in 80 Years exhibition with Ben Ainslie. Now Ben, if I was to list all your achievements, we'd have no time to chat, so try not to blush too much. When I say we're here with three-time World Sailor of the Year, three-time Olympic gold medalist, I bet that still feels good to hear. Why don't you tell us a little bit about today's event?
Yeah, well, as you said, we're here to celebrate 80 years of the Round the Island race, which is a sailing race around the Isle of Wight, which is an annual event, and it's one of the biggest sailing events globally in terms of the number of competitors and number of boats. Really a fantastic event. Around the Isle of Wight takes, depending on the size of the boat, takes anywhere between sort of 4 to 12 hours, so it's a bit of a marathon. But you know, annually great race, and obviously a lot of history here today. Some former winners of the race, and a lot of great pictures in the gallery, and a lot of great stories from the race in the past.
And you mentioned the number of boats competing. I mean, it looks like chaos. It looks like it'd get pretty brutal out there. How does it compare to, say, the Miami Regatta that you were in January just gone?
Well, the racing around the Isle of Wight is totally different to Olympic class racing or almost any other type of racing that you might see with sailing. All of the boats sort of set off in 2 starts, so you have thousands of boats racing at the same time around the island. And I think one of the special things with the race is that you see so many different types of boats, from very small little dinghies to big super yachts, and old boats, new boats. And it's really a very inclusive event as well in terms of the people on the boats, families, friends, top round the world winning sailors, and someone who may not have even raced before. We get a lot of celebrities who get involved and do the race and really enjoy it, so it's really a fantastic day out.
And you mentioned the super yachts and the celebrities. There's always an element of glamour that surrounds sailing as a sport. But when there's not that element of glamour, when you're back home, you're training, winter's set in, your hands are numb and the water's ice cold. What is it that persuades you to keep going and to keep training?
Yeah, it's like any other sport. There's a lot of hard work goes on in the background you don't necessarily see. And certainly in the winter, when it's cold in the UK, it's tough. But really it's about focusing on the next goal, what's important, what training you need to do to make sure you achieve those goals and those ambitions. We're a bit fortunate at the moment. We're training down in Palma and Mallorca, so we're missing some of the bad weather in the UK, but we'll be back training here in April, May time, and working hard towards the big events coming up in the summer.
And obviously still training hard. I mean, you had a recent setback on the America's Cup, and the rule changes sort of left you in a bit of a limbo. Team Origin that many considered favourites, it must be devastating to pull out.
It was a very disappointing moment, and obviously a very difficult decision for our owner, Sir Keith Mills. But really the America's Cup has been in a very difficult situation for the last 5 years or so, and it's disappointing, but really we've all got to look towards the future now, and hopefully the next America's Cup will be a success, and from there on after, and for guys like myself, we can get back involved and hopefully be successful with the British team in the future.
And I suppose it was disappointing, but of course you went out winning the World Championships, so it wasn't all doom and gloom. I suppose winning something that Ben Ainslie's used to.
Yeah, we salvaged something from the disappointment of the team pulling out of the America's Cup and winning the World Match Racing Championships at the end of last year in Malaysia. So for us, that really made the whole campaign a bit more worthwhile, and it was a great way to end things. Obviously a very difficult year, and to end it on a high note was good for all of us. And now for me personally, moving on to get back into the fin, working towards 2012, and some very big regattas coming up this summer in terms of qualification for that one Olympic spot.
And you mentioned the one Olympic spot. I mean, the last 4 Olympics, way back to Atlanta '96. One thing you could always be certain of about an Olympic Games was that Ben Ainslie would be there. But now, with the selections ongoing, and you've got a tough battle on your hands now.
Yeah, it's very tough. We've got 5 guys in the UK, all in the top 10 in the world, and so huge strength and depth. I mean, it's a very positive thing in terms of having those guys, knowing that they're, the guys you're training with, racing against, are right at the top level in the world. And you know, if I'm able to get through that to beat those guys, then I'll be in a very good position for the Olympics.
You certainly take it as a positive thing. I mean, you wouldn't, let's be honest, you wouldn't want a slightly easier path to the Olympics, maybe?
Well, you know, there's always easier options in life, and for sure it's going to be very difficult to beat those guys. But you know, I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't believe I could, and certainly if that's the case, then whoever qualifies for the UK will be in a very strong position for the Olympics next year.
I mean, if you do make it to London, I mean, you're still a favourite in many people's books to book your place in the team. Perversely, you'll actually be competing in Weymouth, which is, I suppose, a home away from home for you. I mean, you don't want to get beat in your own backyard, do you?
Absolutely not. I think it'd be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for anyone competing in London 2012, and to be able to be in with a shot of winning you know, on home waters is just an incredible thing. And certainly, you know, I think with the strength and depth that we've got in a lot of the classes in the UK, we should be in a good position. But the Olympics is a difficult event, and you've always got to expect the unexpected with the Olympic Games, and you know, a lot of hard work. And if you do the groundwork properly, prepare properly, and it's just about getting out there and performing on the day. And
you mentioned the groundwork. Your progress at the moment, are you very much on where you want to be at the minute?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still sort of getting back into the class. Very steep progression at the moment in terms of the fitness both on and off the water, and just getting back into the boat. So we've got some big regattas coming up in April and May, and you know, that's really when I need to be hitting the straps and be back at peak performance. So a lot of work to do over the next couple of months.
Finally, I suppose it's a little off topic, but I hear you're actually a massive Chelsea fan.
Yeah, that's right.
How do you judge their fortunes at the minute?
You know, well, I think Chelsea are sort of, you know, going through this period where things aren't necessarily going their way, and they've obviously got a squad which probably needs a bit of confidence, I think. You know, like all sports, if you're low on confidence, mistakes get made, and it's difficult. So hopefully they can start getting some results together and get the confidence back. Got a few new signings which will hopefully lift the dressing room a little bit. But I think they've got a great manager and very talented squad, so hopefully they can do well.
Next year, 2012, obviously year of the Olympics. A personal point of view, would you rather perhaps a Chelsea quadruple, or would you rather a Ben Ainslie in the Olympic Games?
Yeah, I think I'd rather. I think that's a bit of a no-brainer. I think I'll be looking after myself there.
Excellent. Right, thank you very much.
Okay.
Cheers.